You are listening to the Enormocast.
Squama by Sportiva. A shoe for climbers who are not afraid to ascend. Climbing obsession.
Why are you so obsessed?
Squama. Squama vegan. Precision. Stability. Squama vegan. Skin-like.
Why are you so obsessed?
What would you do for the send?
What would you do for the send?
Squama by Sportiva. Squama.
What would you do for the send?
Elevate your sending with the Squama, and elevate your consciousness with the new Squama Vegan. All the sending without the animal-derived materials. Find the Squama at Sportiva.com or your favorite local shop. Squama.
What would you do for the send?
Hey climbers, that rock that you lovingly caress every weekend is just never going to love you back. Of course, it's never going to suddenly ask you what you're thinking right now either. But devoting even a tenth of that energy into an actual human relationship might be a better bet in terms of love and companionship, no matter what your alpinist friends say. Peter W. Gilroy is here to help. Climber and jewelry maker, Peter can hook you up with just the right gift for that human in your life who just smiles when you get home late from the crag, or who's still belaying you even though you're falling lower and lower on your proj. So go to peterwgilroy.com and enter Enormo at checkout for a discount on art you can wear and to help the Enormocast.
We gotta get
Listen, where are you playing in town? Are you playing here?
We're doing the Enormo Dome, whatever it is. It's terrific.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
a
big
house. We
place
sold
that
it
side
out.
of town. That's a
Very
big
nice.
place. You sold
What's
it
that,
out.
20,000 seats?
You really should.
Look, you better get up there before he panics. Those pens are loose. You're very good. I have really enjoyed climbing with you. We'll make it. I don't think so. But we shall continue with style. Good weather, bad weather. Now or later, anytime is good for climbing.
Today's show is brought to you by La Sportiva and with support from Maxim Ropes. Maxim has been keeping the Enormocast off the deck since 2012.
And don't forget our charter sponsor, Bonfire Coffee. Go to bonfirecoffee.com and enter Enormo at checkout for a discount on great coffee and to support the Enormocast.
And now back to the show.
Hello and welcome to the Enormocast. This is your host, Chris Kalous. It is 9 a.m. on March 10th, 2025. Daylight savings time just started. Still feeling it. Nobody knows why. Something to do with World War I or farmers or energy. I don't know. But on it goes. Messing up our circadian rhythms twice a year. However, this is episode 302 of the Enormocast, the moment many of you have been waiting for. Our yearly spray session where we take down dumb parts of climbing. Yes, that's right. This is the episode we used to call Taps. Now we call it Last Rites. Why that is will be revealed during the show. Rebranding. It happens sometimes. We rebrand. Takes a while, though. Still going to be Taps in the hearts of many of the fans. Okay, but before we get there, I got to take care of some things. First of all, I want to thank Nathan Butler, who, in an effort to get myself and the panel into trouble, sent a ton of booze for this episode. We didn't even make a small dent in it. He sent enough to maybe try to murder us, but we appreciate it anyway. Over the years, various people and companies have tried to support this episode with alcohol. That's the way it goes. So anyway, thanks to Nathan Butler for his generosity. There's a lot left over, Nathan, so you'll be with us maybe for a couple years, actually. Yeah, that was that much. With that in mind, know that this is an R-rated episode of the podcast. I know they all are kind of, because we drop F-bombs quite frequently. I hear from some people about that. Yes, I'm a little self-conscious about it, but it happens. It's part of the way we talk about climbing, I think, many of us. Anyway, this one gets really off the rails, gets really R-rated. There's sexual acts brought up, lots of swearing, lots as it goes on. It's like a Tarantino film, that level. Or the Coen brothers. How many fucks are in The Big Lebowski? There's been a count. It's more than you think, actually, even. Anyhow, just keep that in mind as you're listening in the car with the kiddos, or if that kind of thing offends you, just skip this one. Also, remember that about these episodes. I'd like to say we don't intend to offend, but we kind of do, actually. We kind of do. I mean, we don't attack people personally, but we attack some of the dumb shit we do, and many of it you do. We do. We're as self-deprecating as we are against a lot of these things. So, as usual, leave your sensitivities at the door or skip this one. We will get serious about climbing again immediately after. And remember, we're just talking shit. None of these things are our sacred beliefs. Little secret, I own daisy chains. I use them all the time. I don't put them between my legs, but it's actually a pretty functional way to store your daisy chain. All right? So yeah, we're just trying to make you laugh. That's it. Okay, one other thing I meant to do during the mayhem before the freight train got away from me, but I didn't manage, was to give a retraction. Last year's TAPS episode, we implied that Verve climbing had disappeared. We weren't exactly sure. Mary brought up missing their sports bras because they're awesome. Anyway, I heard from Christian Griffith, the iconic OG progenitor of Verve climbing and one of the great American climbers of all time. And he was a little miffed that we had pronounced his company dead, although we didn't actually do that. We were just kind of confused because it's very hard to find. Christian Griffith runs this company. It's all based in Boulder, Colorado. He has his clothing made here in the U.S., I believe also just there in Boulder, actually. I'm not totally sure about that, but I know it's all made in the U.S. It's a very boutique company. They make iconic climbing clothing. It was one of the first climbing-specific clothing companies of all time with an eye on design, on the human form. I mean, downright sexy stuff. And sexy in a good way. Is there other types of sexy? I feel like maybe there is. But really cool clothing. And Mary Harlan, who's on our panel this year, swears by the sports bra. And I know finding sports bras you love is a very difficult thing for any woman I've ever talked to, no matter the size, how big your lats are, whatever. It is a troubling thing. And I think that's probably the problem is women's climbing bodies are quite a bit different than a lot of the other sports bodies. So hear me now. Verve climbing is still going. It's a very unique company. It's all the things you like. Owned by a climber, produced in the U.S., small, just running it the way it should be run. That's verveclimbing.com. He has no social media. Or actually, there is a Verve Climbing Instagram, but the last post here, let me check my notes. The last post was 254 weeks ago on the Verve Climbing Instagram. And God damn it, I respect that. I am so ambivalent about my own sort of what I think is necessary Instagram footprint because I run a business here. Christian Griffith, yep, fuck with that, which I don't know, just so cool. Verveclimbing.com, go check out his clothes, get a sports bra, even if it's just to hold up your massive pecs. That's verveclimbing.com, not dead, fully alive. And gentlemen, if you climbed in the 90s or the early aughts, the Yojimbo pants are still there. They're still there. And since styles come back around like every 20 years, you could be on the vanguard. Right? I know a lot of you guys just perked up. Bring it back. The Yojimbos. Okay, let's get to this year's panel. It's me, Andy Salo, Mary Harlan, Andrew Bisharat. Same crew it's been for a few years. Good chemistry in the room. Well over 100 years of combined climbing experience in the room. The first installment of Last Rites, the 8th, 9th, 10th installment of the show formerly known as Taps. Whatever. Here it is. Enjoy. Welcome to, I know you guys are going to boo me on this, but this episode is called Last Rites. We are retiring. We're officially retiring the Taps name. Why are we doing this? Well,
because you're a bitch.
Yes, that is true. I also think that empathy is now a form of resistance. And so over the years, I have been, talked to occasionally by people who are like, hey, this song is like really, military people. And like, look, I got so many problems with the military on a larger scale. The industrial complex, just that it's like, well, we're not supposed to criticize it at all. And it's just this like giant money dump, or whatever. And, it hasn't won a war since World War II or whatever. Like, I don't like any of that stuff. This is like an apology. It's not an apology. However, a lot of guys have talked to me like, hey, man, that song was played at my buddy's funeral or whatever, at Arlington, my dad or something like that. So I'm taking the tap. Besides, it was confusing. Everyone thought it was an acronym. So anyway, it's going to stick around. We're not going to stop saying it on the show. I apologize for that. But we're going to try to move to the idea of Last Rites, which is it makes more sense with the show. We're putting these things to death.
So that's what it's now called, is Last Rites?
Yeah, but I got like every single one of these people say Taps on their things and stuff. So it's still there.
Slow death. Yeah.
It may be AKA or FKA. What is it for FKA? Yeah, FKA, formerly known as Taps. But anyway,
this is going to be your Prince moment where
exactly.
This is the episode
talking.
Formerly known as Taps.
Exactly.
Until
it's
it
just
comes back as Taps in a couple years.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I felt as though there's no losing in trying to kind of like, sort of empathize with those people. So there you go. I'm empathizing. Like I said, we are in an age where empathy is a form of resistance. So let's do it.
Yeah, sounds good.
I'm feeling resistant.
Okay. No laughs in there. By the way, if you don't know what I'm even talking about, then you've come to the right place, because I'm not going to explain what Taps is this year. We're just going to get straight into it. Is that okay?
So do I have to play a song right now? Or not?
Oh, no, actually, here, I got it. And actually, it's funny because when I would listen to it and edit, I would be like, that's a really sad song. It's not actually that funny.
It's really grim.
Yeah,
actually.
Totally. So it's like,
super depressing.
This isn't funny at all, But here we go. You ready? Here's a couple choices I've just found on YouTube. Here's my actually favorite one, and I have no rights to use this. Speaking of Last Rites, it's by a band called Ingested, and Ingested is on tour right now. So hopefully, maybe this will get somebody interested in Ingested. But this song is called Last Rites. And you got to wait for it. Feels more appropriate, doesn't it? Already? Okay, this is another choice. This is Merciful Fate. I don't believe this band is together anymore. Belgian, maybe?
They sound Belgian.
Okay, third choice. This band is called Omen. I don't think they're together anymore either. This little Iron Maiden for me.
I think the first one.
Yeah, the first one. Okay, go see Ingested on tour now.
I like door A.
Yeah. Okay, we are going to start.
Is there any music? Is there any Last Rites that's not speed metal?
Yeah, there was a bunch. There was so many songs.
It was all
called
like
Last
Christian
Rites.
rock, and
there was some.
Yeah.
Literally, I should have chosen those, but I figured the Christians would come after me.
They will come after you now with a vengeance.
They want to come. Yeah.
Oh,
they definitely don't want me in this country anymore. At least American Christians. Big, giant air quotes on the Christian part of that. Okay, should we start with some zombies?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one comes in from Joe, and some of these are little callbacks to some old shows. Okay.
Hey, Chris, Andrew, if you're on the show, you guys are always giving dudes like me, this is Joe here, giving dudes like me flack for having a carabiner on my chalk bag. Well, let me let you in on a little secret. Not all of us climbers are toothpicks, okay? A little pudgy in the middle. On this one day, climbing out in the Alabama hills, I was coming up and doing a crux move, and my belly squished together, undid the chalk bag, belt, fell down, scared the crap out of me, had no chalk. So yeah, not all of us climber bros are 5'7" and 130. So anyway, I appreciate it. If you would keep giving people static about it, actually, I think it's funny. Peace.
I love this guy.
That's Joe.
Yeah, hell
Yes.
yeah, Joe.
So anyway, there is a reason apparently to have your carabiner chalk bag or chalk bag on a carabiner. We've definitely had a problem with that in the past. But old Joe's out there keeping it real. So I just wanted to play that one for any comments on that.
I mean, what's to say his muffin top ain't going to open up a carabiner?
Good point.
Has it got to be a locker then?
Yeah. Joe's probably got a locker.
Yeah.
Or at least two reverse
Opposite opposed
Yeah.
beaters for his chalk bag.
And are they real carabiners? I mean, really, all I care about is that it's a real carabiner and not the fake one.
What's wrong with the fake one?
Because it's not useful in any fucking application at all.
It shouldn't be out near your climbing gear, is what you're saying.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. Get that shit away.
I mean, I think if you're factor 2ing your chalk belt, then you need to upgrade to like some static webbing. You know, maybe like a 7 mil cord with a double fisherman's knot. That's what I would recommend.
That was the old. There's plenty of people out there that run runner strength belt in case they need it when they're bailing.
I do.
You've got carabiners all over your
Even
harness. You don't need one on your chalk
Like
bag.
if you're sport climbing, you got a piece of pearl.
6 millimeter cord.
What kind of knot do you use? Has it ever come
I just
undone?
use a overhand. I don't
Like
do
a granny or anything?
Yeah, I don't do anything special.
Oh. Huh.
Like, you know, whatever the knot. Square knot.
Oh.
Yeah. Square knot that shit.
I'd square knot that shit.
Save yourself the embarrassment of climbing with the chalk bag carabiner.
And embarrass myself instead by using a cord.
So you're saying Joe could switch it up to a cord?
Yes.
As long as he uses an appropriate knot that his belly can't open.
I mean, the carabiner on the chalk bag should have been last righted episodes ago.
It has been, yes.
Yeah.
Thank you. You're again in the swing with Last Rites.
The other problem that I find with the carabiner versus the cord, I was just thinking about this, is that sometimes I have this perception that people who don't know what they're doing have a lot of gear on them and it's all hanging down to their knees.
Yes. That is an accurate perception.
That is just a perception I've observed in myself. And in that perception, I want to start saving. I want to rescue those people. I want them to feel like they can graduate from having the 22-foot cordelette connected to their harness while they're sport climbing, hanging down to their knee. Like, I want that person to graduate. And so this is why I'm thinking that it's more, sophisticated to use the cord as opposed to having full strength carabiner, maybe locker in Joe's case, with the chalk bag then awkwardly hanging. I mean, you know where it hangs.
Yeah.
Right at your butthole.
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
So would you guys, we got to move on from this one, but already, but would you say it is a red flag for you?
Yeah, giant.
a carabiner holding a carabiner on a chuck pen.
It's a perception that I'm trying to help people avoid.
You're so much nicer than the rest of us. All right. Anyway, Joe, we'll still go climb with you, buddy. It's not a deal breaker.
Yeah.
Just a little bit of a huh.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
You can't blame me, Joe.
Yes, he can.
I'm kidding.
He's the only one in the room that can.
Ouch.
All right, Joe. You'll need to come to rifle and belay, Andrew. We're tapping out on that. Okay, here's another one.
Chris, hey, this is Finch from Austin, Texas, and I was recently listening to one of you and Andrew's movie nights. I know you threw a bunch of shit at people from Texas and specifically people from Austin, so appreciate that, you fucker. But, and you may have done this in past taps, gyms are super, super nice now. We've got to stop having dudes take their shirts off at the gym. Just has to stop. Keep your shirt on at the gym. It's 72 degrees and super, super sterile. Keep your shirt on at the gym.
Strong agree.
Yes.
Yeah, I agree.
I think all right. I don't know if we need to keep going on that. I just agree as well.
But are people going to, stop doing that?
I feel like it's less and less. And I honestly feel like there's plenty of gyms that if it's not a rule, there's a clear atmosphere of like, don't do it. And when the one person does, everybody, you can are definitely vibing them out. I thought it was like that at our gym before it closed.
What about not taking your shirt off at the outside at the boulders?
I think outside is free reign.
But is it any less gross?
Yeah, because it's not
like offensive or just in your face with man nipples.
Yeah, I think for one thing, you're not as captive an audience. You're not like there inside of an enclosed space. And also,
there's also like a question of excessive. Like when somebody new to the gym comes in and they see a bunch of shirtless dudes, it's like,
but you can make all the same arguments for like a boulder field.
Except that they wouldn't be walking to the same boulders.
I don't know. I'm just going to put it out there that when I go into a gym and I see a man with a shirt off, it kind of makes me think of armpit cheese and like...
I think it's the enclosed space. Too.
Yeah,
you're inhabiting.
When I go
air
outside,
is circulating with them and their whatever, and it's just like I don't know. It just feels different inside. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't go to boulder areas where people have their. So I don't know. I mean, sport climbing, it doesn't feel like you're so enclosed with somebody.
There's like tank tops and stuff you can wear if you're hot.
I need one right now.
You're
actually,
a tank top guy.
I wear tank tops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
it's more attractive outside. Like the first thought I don't have is armpit cheese.
Yeah.
All right. I think I'm with that keeps needing to be killed. Yes, it still needs to be killed.
Murdered.
Because then, it's just like back acne is like right in your face and stuff.
Well, I think also too, like when you get all sweaty in your back and then you like back slap on a mat.
Yeah.
That then somebody's like sitting on.
Yeah, because then like those guys will get up and it's literally like there's going to be like a wet spot there.
You guys are talking about sweat and I'm sweating right now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
There was also another zombie about the gear displays, but we'll move it on from that because we took that one down. Should we go to kills or laments?
Kill it.
Yeah.
Yo, Chris, it's Aaron Lennox, and my beef is stancing a route, a phenomenon that I became aware of this season in the Valley. To stance a route, claiming that you've done it because where and when you fell, you lower back down to a stance and then continue to climb from the anchor or to the anchor from the stance. What's next? Day stancing. Stand by for that. It's on the horizon.
That was perfect.
Yes, day stancing is just around the corner. If we do not draw the line here, we must make a stand for the good of climbing. That's why I played that one. I love that.
That's
day
awesome.
Stancing.
Day stancing.
Stances.
Explain what a stance is.
So it's when you fall on a climb, on a lead, a pitch, and you lower back down to where you can stand without holding on with your hands. So a no hands stance, hence the name. And then you finish from there and you're like, yeah, it's fine. I could have sat there all day. It's just like the ground. So that you finish the pitch from there and you call it free.
Do you yo-yo up to your gear?
It sounds like you yo-yo because if there's
Yeah,
no anchor
if
at the
you
stance,
fall, you can't clean your gear on the way down.
Yeah. So at the very least, even if you pulled your rope, your gear would be in situ.
But I think some people use stance too as like they climb to the stance at one point, like whether it was just the time before or some other time.
Oh.
And then they do from that stance to the anchor on a separate burn.
Really?
I think that some people use it that way as well. It's not just like you're on like tied in on one red point pitch,
right?
And you fall, and then you go from the stance to the top.
So you come back a week later and just like yard up to that stance.
I don't know. I mean, I'm not sure if that's
all right. Well, where this really comes into play is on the ever murky world, which we've covered a lot on the run out of big wall free climbing. That this stance thing actually has a historical place in that climbing as well. It was part of the free Salathe, I believe. What's your opinion over there, Crusty Pants?
It's just, I think it just depends how honest you are when you get back down to the ground. If you call it good because you stanced and you're okay with that and you can sleep at night, that's on you. But I think if you kind of hide that, most people, and all of us here, I think would assume that if you said you freed the Salathe or you freed any known route, that you did every pitch from the belay to the anchor. And that's how like we've come to define it. So yeah, if you come down and you say, well, I did stance the crux pitch, then, then we could judge you. But
right.
Yeah, you got to just be honest. I mean, all these things.
It's just a matter of honesty though. Like, I think the question is like whether you get to say you did the Salathe and then the asterisk is, you use stances on the pitches.
Well, I think it depends, because if we are talking about the Salathe,
it's a definitive answer. It's just no, right? Like you didn't do the route. If you're
that's the honest
pitches.
Person would say no. Right?
Yeah, but I think so. You were talking about the Salathe being a stanced out route when it was first done.
Yeah, well, there's some thought that the pitch 19 was done with a stance,
right?
The Donwall's a stanced out route.
The Donwall is also a stanced route,
right? So if you do it in the same style or if there's the FA party, then yeah, I think you could still call it a legit ascent.
Okay.
Because they've come to define the ascent in some ways. Like if they say that, yeah, I stanced my way up the Dawn Wall and that's legit, we're taking it. Right.
I mean, that's the thing. It gets really tricky.
Yeah.
Because, my question when we were talking about the Dawn Wall is then, since they were rebolting it, why didn't they just put a belay there?
Right.
But then they were trying, I guess, not to put more bolts in at the same time. Or it was a shorty pitch then or whatever. So, but yeah, but the logistics of it, that's the problem with big walls is that oftentimes it's like a logistical thing because all of us,
it'd be very inconvenient to fall lower to the belay rather than lower to the no hands.
Right.
So it probably came about as like a way to speed things up and make it efficient. And then it was also kind of like, yeah, well, I'm still freeing the moves, But if somebody did this at a sport crag, you'd probably call them out. But big wall free climbing, it seems like kind of anything goes anyway.
Yeah, why does it? I don't understand why we have to say that that's just always going to be the case with big wall free climbing.
Well, because it is.
Yeah, so that's what this whole episode's about.
So we're saying stancing not legit for big wall free climbing.
I think there's a good argument to say that should be the rule.
So I agree. So what other tactics can we taps? Last rites.
Give last rites.
Yeah. Give last rites.
So I guess just to back up though, we're legitimizing stancing because it's a tactic that would be used by a big wall climber as opposed to.
It's a tactic to say you've done all the moves free on one pitch. That's it. It's not a tactic to say that you've red pointed the pitch. But that's how people are using it.
Yeah.
And I think that should be tapsed.
Last righted. Thank you.
Yeah, last righted. Yeah. I think I agree with you. Yeah, so which isn't as funny as arguing, but
I actually agree too. I don't know much about it, but I am agreeing that it should be last righted.
Yeah, that was Aaron. Aaron is on board with that. I mean, and again, like, you know, as we move forward, I think we should be getting style better.
Yeah, style matters.
And so, you know, there was a time when you could, yo-yoing was basically, the ground was your stance. You could go up and get a piece in and then lower down and then climb up to that piece and then keep going, lower down. You know, that was, but we've done away with that because the red point style is better style. So that's all. We're just trying to move style forward, you guys.
Yeah, and I think stancing is sort of like coming about as like a way to like get things done quicker.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's definitely not as good a style.
So what would day stancing be? I think that would be what I kind of talked about earlier, which is where you like fall and then you don't do the rest of the pitch. And then you come back the next day, you come to your stance.
And you fire it from there.
Fire it from there.
You day stance
First try of the
day.
First fry from the stance.
Yeah.
Of the day.
First try from the stance of the day.
I mean, that sounds harder than just free red pointing the pitch.
By the time you go through all that.
Like roll all the way back down and then jug 20 pitches back up to your stance point.
Just to get the day
Just
stance?
to get the day stance.
If you get the day stance that way, you get credit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If
Just
you do
because
it
it's
that
harder.
way, but if you just go to take a nap on your fucking portal edge,
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
day stance, that doesn't count.
For day stancing, you have to go back to the ground.
Right. Yes.
It's the purest way.
Okay. All right. We get all that sorted out. There's going to be like a outline that goes with this one to make sure people can keep.
We'll make a flow chart. Yeah.
All right.
Did you send the route?
Yes. No.
Yes. No.
Did you send it from your stance?
Yeah.
Was it the same day?
Yeah.
Was it the next day?
Did you lower to the ground?
All right. Here we go. Another one.
Hi, this is Andy, long-time listener, first-time caller. I've been climbing for a while now, but I thought it'd be fun. I have this girlfriend of mine, Izzy, that I've introduced into all the different styles of climbing and thought she had some beef to share. Izzy, what do you think of sport climbing?
I just think there's a lot of judgmental bitches around the crag, and they can be pretty annoying.
How are they judgy?
They give looks. They take it too seriously. They're not trying to have fun.
What about bouldering?
Well, bouldering in general is just stupid, in my opinion, and people who do it are also kind of trash.
What about trash?
They're all what?
Trash.
That's all.
So I listened to this and I was empathetic, and then I was like, maybe there's a reason they're giving you those looks, Izzy. Like, which way is the look coming?
I don't know, Andy, you should marry that girl. She's a keeper.
All right, so what about first? I don't know what's in there. I mean, are we ever going to get rid of like crusty attitude sport climbing?
Yeah, are we going to ever get rid of the bitches?
And should we?
I think.
Well, it's obviously men's fault.
Yes. Let's. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I don't
Next
like that
topic.
answer.
Next topic.
Mary's like,
we nailed it.
No. It is not men's fault.
It's easier that way, Mary. Just let it go. It's men's fault that women give bitchy looks to Izzy at the crag. Okay? That's it. End of discussion.
Oh.
Yes. I agree with Andrew.
So harsh. God. Oh.
I don't know. I just was like, I kind of think, because like guys or the girls who are up on the hard climbing aren't paying attention to you. I mean, we've been down this road before. Like,
yeah, they're too self-absorbed.
However, is Izzy onto something? And this maybe could be answered by our token female.
Hello. It is I.
A long-standing token female, actually.
Still here.
Like the bitchy look thing.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I mean, there's just some women that have resting bitch face.
Okay.
So we've got that going.
Right. You're not one of them, are you?
I try not to be, but as I get older, I notice
your face is bitchy looking.
That my face is bitchy looking. It's true. My husband will fully agree with this. No, I just think that there are climbers, and I'll say I climb with both the kinds of climbers, like the really serious, the people that take it really seriously, and then the people like your wife, Steph, who she's like wants to have an intensely fun day that day, but she doesn't take it too seriously. And I just think that for the person in Izzy's shoes, that she needs to just stop caring about what anybody else around her is doing or how they're looking at her. Because in the end, those people that are giving her the bitchy looks, I can guarantee don't give a fuck about her.
Right.
So I would just say she needs to stop paying attention to the looks that she's getting from anybody and just have fun on her own terms, whatever that means.
And don't go bouldering anymore, Izzy, if you think it's stupid and everybody's trash.
Yeah.
And then I'll just say this with bouldering, it's fucking rad. And I think it's the best way to train because let's face it, all I do anymore is train. I don't actually climb outside. I just train because as your children get older, then your life becomes whatever they're doing. Just so you know.
If I had to guess, the kind of climbing she likes to do is like multi-pitch or like traddy stuff where she's just off, her and Andy, just like the two of them often, on their own route. No one's vibing them out. But if you walk up to a boulder scene or like a sports crag scene and there's a bunch of people, well, most of the time you're not climbing. You're just sitting around looking at everyone else and you're just people watching,
Which
like
is
that's
fun.
like 95% of what a climbing day is. And then there's 5% where you're actually climbing and focused on that. And so I think that there's probably a little projection of like her, I don't know, maybe she's got a bitchy looking face and all the other women are like, fuck that.
Yeah,
girl.
they're probably saying the same thing. Oh my God, that girl just gave me the worst look.
Oh my God, that girl just gave me side eye and she has resting bitch face. Fuck that bitch.
That's what my guess is everybody's just in this circle of dirty looks that they can't get out of. And they all just should be friends. They all just want to be friends, but they can't.
Hey, when you get side eye though from a girl, it is like they want to fight you.
I just look at women's feet now. I don't make any eye contact. I don't look anywhere like above their kneecaps. Oh my God. That's on video.
I do wear toe socks, folks.
All right, I will say one other thing, which is that my wife has many of her very close friends who she didn't like at first because she thought that they were giving her side eye. And a lot of the people who she thought were intimidating and kind of bitchy people have ended up becoming like her best friends. And so she's always remarked on just that once you get past that, that initial like kind of stare down, there's probably a cool person behind that.
I really like that you said that.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I think in the olden times, it was probably worse. I mean, all the pro women climbers that like were pros early on and like in the 90s and 2000s talk about like this sort of like created kind of rivalry between everybody and that it was real. And even if it was like they were forced to do it by men to back up what Andrew said. But yeah, it was like everybody was like after the smallest piece of the pie. So they're all like cranky with each other. Beth says that anyway. All right, let's do one more and then we'll bring on our guest. This one goes to what you said about your kids, or about your son, rather.
Hey, this is Alex. Just wanted to talk about a dying stereotype, the trad dad. I don't feel like I see dads climbing trad anymore. Most dads I know, and speaking as a dad myself who loves trad climbing and long multi-pitches, we just don't have the time for it. Dads are relegated to sport climbing, gym climbing, and bouldering. Just makes a lot more sense. You can fit it in during a nap time or in the day before you got to be home to help with dinner and bath time and bedtimes. So all the dads I know are sport climbers or boulders.
Nodding his head.
So sadly, I think the days of the trad dad are over. That's all.
Damn.
Cheers.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Trad Dad.
Yeah.
R.I.P. Pour one out for the Trad Dad.
Yeah.
I think
we won't miss him.
I don't think it ever exists. I think it was just a rhyming like slang for old guys that trad climb and are weak. Like a little bit out of not weak, but a little bit out of shape, and they trad climb. It was just a rhyming slang. I don't think they actually had to be actual fathers.
Let's look at Mike Caldwell. Tommy Caldwell's dad. That was a real trad dad. And that guy was Mr. Universe or whatever.
That's true. He was a trad dad.
I'm sure that there's some like Brooklyn hipster who has a dog that he's a father to, and he calls himself a trad dad. As like a designer dog, and he's like a trad dad to his dog. He's a puppy dad.
I mean, there's trad wives. Could we start a trend on YouTube? The trad dad. Like, what is a trad dad? Like, he drinks too much and like falls asleep on the couch.
Pounds away on Mountain Project. Like,
But he should be playing with his kids.
Yeah. Well, I wonder.
It's like the least appealing aesthetic.
Yeah. Maybe it's that like, you know, we're just sort of in a culture that is a bit more supportive of family and stuff like that. Whereas like these old trad dads in the late 90s or whatever, like they're, hey, I'm just going climbing. I'll be back, you know, like have dinner ready kind of thing, you know, and they would just leave.
So the whole zeitgeist has changed.
Yeah.
And we've just come along with it, us trad dads, where we're racing home.
Yeah.
From
We're
the
like
gym
trying to do,
be
on
time to.
Yeah. Because now, you know,
suckle the baby to our teat.
Exactly. Yeah, I just think there's a lot more stay-at-home dads now too. So it, you know, you can't be a trad dad and a stay-at-home dad.
There's some statistic I saw recently that was said something like our generation or our parents' generation, like the fathers of our parents they like spent something like 5% of their time with their kids.
Wow.
It's like something insane like that.
Because they were working.
Yeah, they were working.
They were out
or
working,
they were
they were trad climbing.
And trad climbing.
They were trad climbing.
Ask my mom. She'll tell you that every time.
Yeah.
Oh, he was gone.
Yeah.
It wasn't him. He was gone. Anytime they give my dad a compliment, anyone's like, oh, you raised such good boys. Oh, he wasn't even there.
Yeah. How would he know?
What does your dad do when he hears that?
He just eats it like he has his whole life.
Yeah.
I mean, you know,
he's like fair.
Yeah, exactly. Like, what am I going to get in an argument now about it? It's a fact. Like the dude wasn't there. Like he was a working man. You know.
Yeah.
Went to work, came home late. Went to work, came home late. That was it.
What's up?
Hello. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Can you guys hear him?
Yeah.
Is this Taps?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me turn him up a little bit.
Am I doing it on my phone? Do you want me on my computer?
Oh yeah. Sorry, it's on your phone. Didn't I say that?
No. Doesn't matter.
You're only in one ear right now. Let me see if I can fix that. Anyway, yeah, it's Ryan Devlin. Welcome to the show, Ryan.
Who's on? Is it Mary and Andy and Andrew? Is it the gang?
The gang is here, bro. We got you.
Oh my God. I've just, my quietude is complete, Mary. It's.
I am so glad that you're feeling quietude right now.
I've been seeking quietude for years now, and only now do I feel like I've actually gained it. This is a beautiful thing. When you reached out, I was like, don't tease me with a Taps invite, because this has been like my dream in life. And here we are.
Here we are. I want to kind of fix it, man. Hold on. Okay, talk again.
Is it because you duct taped a cord together
it may
yourself
be.
For this?
Yeah, but it was working.
Yeah,
before.
there is duct tape on a cord.
Oh, wait, I think I got it.
Don't like start an electrical fire.
Can you hear me?
Come in and talk bullshit for 5 minutes. How drunk are you guys?
We're not there yet. Can you hear us all right?
I've got my whiskey. Is Brooklyn whiskey still sponsoring? I'm in Kentucky, so we don't drink Brooklyn whiskey. We drink Kentucky whiskey.
Yeah,
is that going to lose you a sponsor?
No, actually, I've lost touch with Brooklyn. I think
Okay.
I'm hoping that homeboy, I think his name was might have been Adam. I can't remember right now, but I think he might have bailed, sold it, and I hope for his sake he did, because I was reading this article about how the small distillers are getting crushed at the moment. So Hopefully he did what all small business people dream of, which is selling out to a giant conglomerate and move into the Bahamas or whatever. So
he got the Enormo bump. He got
Yes.
the big whiskey Enormo bump and sold while he was at the top.
Actually, I'm glad you asked, because I did want to shout out Nathan Butler. Nathan Butler sent me like enough alcohol for this episode, like to kill us and like 2 extra cows. I mean, like money and volume was spent. So thanks to Nathan Butler. That's our new sponsor, Ryan.
Shout out Nathan. Hey Nathan, I'll get you my address offline.
He'd hook you up, I bet. He'd hook you up. All right, so we brought you on, Ryan, because we love you, and also because we want you to, throw out a formerly known as TAP's Last Rites issue that you've got and that we can burn down. So, do you got something?
Yeah, I got something. Well, I don't know what you guys have covered yet today.
Okay.
But you have covered this historically in other taps and in regular episodes. But it's a hot topic for me right now because I've been put on blast by the Internet Safety Police, and more specifically the Internet Gree Police. And I don't know if I'm on the right or the wrong side of the issue of this, but it's really like chapping my ass right now, getting like flamed by, keyboard warriors on YouTube because my brake hand wasn't, in the sufficient 6 p.m. position while I was giving Alex Honnold a catch in a video that I did with him a while back. And it's like, man, I don't know how they do it. There's like a bat signal that goes out because it's like one comment and then there's like 7,000 comments that follow all within like 30 minutes. And I'm not like the type of person that can just like let them go. So now I'm like responding to all of them and like defending my belaying technique. I don't know. Is this too like niche to tap or to be mad?
It's the other way around, dude.
Ryan.
You've opened a giant.
That's how the
bucket
algorithm
of worms.
works, man. Like if you're combative on your comments, then it feeds the beast. You gotta just agree with them.
I know, but I'm like, I can't not. I'm like, I know they're baiting me. Probably.
You gotta let that shit go, bro.
And
has it been good for business?
I can't just let it go, you guys. I'm like, you've never like itched your nose while on belay at some. No, you've got 2 hands. You can itch your nose. I mean, I've got these comments here. I should read them to you guys. Do like a live reading.
Yeah, hit us with one, buddy.
Okay, hold on. Let me scroll.
Well, while you're scrolling, you had something you wanted to say, Andrew.
Oh, just, you'd never make the mistake of engaging with people on the internet.
You do, though. You do make the mistake once in a while.
Oh, I make the mistake all the time.
Yeah. The other thing I would say is that what I found out, and Ryan and I discussed this a little bit through text like a month ago, is that when you step into Honnold land, they come at you, man. Like, because he brings, it's not just core climbers. He just brings this massive amount of people where, like, I don't know if you saw on my Honnold Instagram post that these people hung up that I used that I used AI to make a photo. Like people were like just losing it because I had, I was destroying the world, because of the way these servers all use power to do this shit. And I'm like, you guys are on Instagram, dog. Like Instagram, there's like 2 humans left running Instagram. That's it. The rest of it's AI. Like commenting on my AI use on an AI programmed platform just seems like, I don't know, peak something. Like, I don't know, peak fucking fuckwit. I was just like, but if you go back there, I did not engage. Here's what I did, and Andrew can back me up. This is an excellent stress reliever, is to type a massive comment where you just take them down, but then don't post it. That's like I delete it, man. I let it go.
You save it.
It's like edging. It's like
troll edging.
Yeah, it's like troll edging. I just get right up there to press it, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to press it.
Take me home.
Anyway, back to you, Ryan.
Yeah, I pulled some of these up. So here's the, just for context. There were 2 videos that like I put out I spent that day with Honnold, and in one I'm belaying him, and first of all, like it was like the dream day. It was like the most fun I've ever had.
What about today? What about right now?
I literally, like, I had my hand off the brake hand for like a split fucking second when he's like in like a double knee bar rest, like hanging in the roof, and he fucking pops out of it like right as I'm like adjusting my belay specs or something like that. But like it caught him fine because, you know, Grigri's, it's not an ATC. I'm not using, like, it's not a hip belay that I've got him on. And so like the Grigri caught him fine, and I had my hand back on the brake hand, and it was totally fine. And so like I got like, these aren't the comments that I'm reading, but like people were all over. It was like worst belayer ever, almost killed Alex Honnold, like all these things, right? And so like I engage a little bit, and then it goes away, and then I come out with a video where he's belaying me on my project. And I fall, and after I fall, and the Grigri's like engaged, and like people know how a Grigri works. It's like a camming device, and so like it cams on the rope, and as soon as it's engaged, like it's engaged. It's not like active protection anymore. It's passive. It's like crimping the rope, and so he's just like talking to me and giving me some beta, and he has his hand off of the brake hand as he's just like kind of hanging out and pointing to things.
Oh man,
and
I think he's like more media savvy than that, but keep going.
Oh my God! So the comments are like, so it's like, you know, who's the worst belayer, Alex Honnold or Adam Andra? And then it pulls like Andra into it. And now like, and then it's like chum in the water. Somehow, again, the bat signal goes out, and everybody in the world now has an opinion on like how Alex Honnold is belaying. And I try to play it off as like kind of funny and nice at first. No, I don't actually. Now that I'm rereading this, see, this is me. My first comment back was 27 hours before the first Grigri police comment came in. I'm disappointed. I expect faster reflexes next month with my Tom Randall episode. That's the one where we like make a belay device out of an old bong. And I say, mark your calendars. And so, okay. Yeah. So I was kind of baiting him. It's good. Just so we're clear, you think it's okay to break the rule, never let go of the brake strand when belaying? So anyone can do it. Is that your message? Next comment. My car has assisted braking. Does that mean that I don't have to put my foot on the brake pedal when I need to stop? Next, and then I like respond with like a bunch of things, like this is a false equivocation, blah blah blah. And they don't care. Obviously, they're still going.
Oh, now you're using logic.
You gotta laugh at this shit.
Yeah, the thing is that you know who didn't read these comments? Alex Honnold. Like he does not fucking read this shit. You shouldn't either, Ryan.
Jimmy Chin reads them for him.
Yeah. Jimmy, get in here. Yes, Mr. Honnold.
I mean, they escalate though to where people are like saying like, so you want people to kill themselves? I mean, it's just like the line that's drawn, and I think this happens with like, you guys have seen it with like the quad stuff, and there's of course like the helmet contingent and all that. And like, it's not like I'm anti-safety, but and it's such a weird position to be in to like defend improper Grigri use, because no doubt it's improper if you look at it like by the rules. But like, isn't there like the theory and then the practice? Like, don't people climb? I mean, I know I have. I mean, when I first started climbing, it was just an ATC, and like that was its own thing as well. But then when we moved into Grigri territory, it's like, yes, there's the letter of the law, and maybe when you're at a gym, they have like their rules about how like you have to do it, and maybe they take away your belay tag or whatever. Like, I guess if you do something, but like when you're out in the real world, you know, is everybody just always doing it by the book? I feel like not.
Yes.
Like, I feel like, you know,
Yes.
You learn the rules, and then you like figure out where like the gray area is that you can operate still safely without, I don't know, feeling like you're going to get attacked by every single human on the internet. I don't know. Maybe I'm in the wrong though.
I don't think you're not defending the improper use of a Grigri by responding to comments or posting a video. You're defending like the idea of nuance. And like, yeah, so I say, don't listen to Chris. I say that you should keep hammering these trolls back.
Really?
Yeah. That's because just
don't edge, just fully spurt on them with your anger.
Yeah. Impregnate them with nuance. Let them
well played, sir.
Yeah, help them learn that like the world's not black and white.
This is my little baby.
Nuance.
My little nuance baby.
Oh man, I guess
I agree that there's not these rules are not that the rules are meant to be broken, but there's, you know, like you said, there's the practice and then there's like the real world. Yeah. So
well, there's also just like there's such a level of irony for people to be, especially on the Alex video, for people to be calling out Alex for like being unsafe and all this. Like, this is the guy who placed like 3 pieces of protection, you know, on the speed record with Tommy on the nose. And, you know, I mean, like you when you think about the tactics that, you know, especially big wall and speed ascent tactics, like it's not, you know, the pinnacle of safeties.
I also heard he sometimes climbs without a rope.
So one thing that I was thinking about when you were talking about this situation is that people, they put Alex Honnold on such a pedestal that he is godlike to some. He is the GOAT. And I think maybe like to reverse the situation is that somebody who's looking at your, you know, like slightly off or improper or like whatever they're perceiving your belay techniques to be, if it isn't like perfectly belaying the GOAT of climbing, then they're going to go after you. That's what it sounds like to me, is they're just going after you because
you're going to hurt their hero.
You're going to hurt this godlike figure.
Yeah, they're the Secret Service that's like jumping in front of the bad gree bullet that's coming towards him, and yeah. So I'm essentially like the threat.
Do you? By the way, do you have a girlfriend or are you married?
Yeah,
both.
Well,
no, just kidding.
I would say.
Do they know about each other?
I would just say.
I only heard. Where are you married? What was the question?
Oh, there were some pretty funny comments in the background. I don't know how you missed it.
She said, "Do you have a girlfriend or are you married?" And you went, "Yes."
And then they were asking, "Do they know about each other?" Because you said you had both.
Just the latter.
So I would take all the time that you're spending trolling and responding and like
go down on your wife.
Exactly.
Well, I do it at the same time.
Like,
I'm efficient.
So is this like George Costanza? You're like eating a sandwich at the same
Mary.
time
He's
as
using
your
his hand. All right.
A little lingus goes a long way.
Cunnilingus.
All right. So of the issue, like, what are we killing? Are we killing just internet? Yeah. Are we just trying? I mean, are we stemming the tide? No.
Well, I think
it's not going to happen because they're not listening to this show.
I think we're killing Alex Honnold, basically, like,
right.
You know, with bad belaying.
That'd be great for the struggle, though. Yeah, but actually, Andrew asked a good question. Is it like good for business, really? You know, with the algorithm and everything doesn't it like create heat around your show? I mean, all press is good press or whatever.
I don't know. I mean, how did you handle it when the whole thing when the quad, you know, like there was like, you did like a podcast about it and like you were getting flamed on Instagram for a while.
Yeah. So now it's like a huge running joke on the run out that anytime we mention the quad, it's basically like slamming. So it was good. We turned it into this like thing, you know, it's all like right. Our t-shirt could just have a quad on it and everybody would know.
Maybe like bad belaying will be my thing.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, you can add almost killed Honnold on your
that, and I kind of
Instagram
did with
profile.
this video with Tom Randall where he created a belay device that he called the Trad Dad 2000 that he made out of I just thought it was an old piece of scrap metal, but actually you enlightened me, Chris, that it was an old, like one of these bongs, like it looks like a large cheese grater, and he had like these old like D lockers. Anyway, we rigged up a belay device out of this thing and belayed off of it, and yeah, maybe I'll just lean into it. Maybe I'll like do a hip belay and a Swami belt in the next video, and then
just keep going.
We'll find something more dangerous after that.
No.
Dude, you can talk to any guide and they will teach you dangerous belay tips. Trust me on that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, next time you're out with Alex, just put him on a short rope.
Yeah.
Oh God!
You could short rope the guy. You could use a terrain belay.
That's like the sketchiest thing that guides do. Short roping. They just pretend it's actually going to do something besides pull both of them off the mountain. But it's AMGA certified, so let's move on.
So I think what I'm killing is like if I were to try to actually have kind of a point to this, and I think we're all just like, you know,
we're just
drunk and
therapy.
having fun with it. But like, if
we're here for you,
if there was something that I could kill, it would be people giving a shit about how other people climb and what their systems are that they use. And like, that's fine. Like, I'm not putting forward how-to videos, and most people that post on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever are not actually posting things in order to get advice. And whether that's a thing that you're trying on the kilter board or a thing that you're doing outside or whatever, like, we share things because we're proud of them, or they're entertaining, or we hope it brings a little bit of joy to people's lives. But we're not typically sharing things for like constructive criticism, unless we specifically say we want constructive criticism, or if I was saying, hey, here's how to properly belay. But other than that, like, I guess I'd like to kill people just going on and trying to inflate their own ego or status or whatever it is by trying to correct and say, hey, you know, you could have back flagged on that and probably would have saved some energy. Or, hey, you know, watch your brake hand or whatever. It's like,
wait, what's
you know,
a back
can't we all just like go out and climb and not be given advice, like unsolicited advice from every fucking corner?
No, that actually bothers me too. Like when you're just like, well, what message are you sending is always in there. Like, what, you're showing young people this is how. No, I'm not. And guess what? Nobody went and tried to free solo El Cap after Alex Honnold. That was always the big thing with that. Like, well, you're showing the youth like they can go do this, and it's like, nope. I don't think anybody I know of is like cratered off the first pitch of El Cap. Right?
My 14-year-old son was not like, yeah, Mom, I want to go free solo El Cap now.
He was like, fuck that shit.
Yeah, he was like, climbers are fucking crazy, Mom. They're crazy.
Anyhow, yeah, that part of it is like chaps my ass too. Like, what message are you sending? I'm not sending any Yeah, learn how to use your gree better than I do. That's my message, and you figured it out. This is like a warning to you, right?
I'm happy to be like the cautionary tale or the whatnot, but like, don't attack me as if I'm putting forward some sort of, you know, Petzl sanctioned how-to video, when I'm just like out climbing with friends. And if they're famous friends or they're not famous friends or whatever, like, I think this could apply to really anybody. Like,
Alex Honnold can take care of himself
just because we love it and we're having fun and we're posting it because we want to share the stoke. And almost never does anybody post a video and want somebody to come and say, hey, you're doing something wrong. Usually we just want people to say like, hey, that looks really cool. Way to go. You know, like, I just, what do you think you're doing?
You're kind of ruining our whole show right now, Ryan. This is exactly what we do. This is what this show is. We go and we tell you like, hey, take your fucking carabiner off your chalk bag and put a belt on, for Christ's sakes.
Stop using a PAS device. What the fuck's your problem?
So anyway. But one last thing I'll say that I enjoy.
You know, maybe this is just the way it's going under the Trump Dimmitt administration, you know?
So listen, the last thing I want to say, Ryan, is one thing that brings me joy about you is just you know, speaking of these, we were talking about a baby impregnating someone with nuance, is that you are this like, you're this grown man, but you're like this fresh little baby that's being presented to the climbing world. And it's like, because you know what I mean? Like, everything is like new, and you're like, man, these people came after me on the internet. I couldn't believe it. I'm like, yeah, dog. Like, that's what happens. Anyway, we love you, Ryan Devlin.
Say, you need to come out with a whole series of how-to videos now. Like, you should come out with a how-to belay video and be like, yo, bitches, this is how to belay. And Alex could do it with you.
I know.
I'll do it just to fuel the fire. But yeah, maybe. I mean, I am like, it is funny. Like, it's what is that, like, Meet Joe Black?
Yeah.
Or what was the new one with Emma Stone, where like,
she put the baby's brain in her body. What was that called?
That's me. That's me.
That's
I'm
you.
like, that's
love it.
Like rock climber podcast host me right now. And maybe in like 5 or 10 years, I'll be doing like taps on my, struggle taps, and I'll be yelling at the wind. But be able to be included in this with you guys today. I appreciate it.
Awesome, Ryan. Thanks for calling in, dog.
I love you guys. We'll see you.
Love you too.
Love you.
Later. Thanks to Ryan for coming in from the struggle. Yeah.
I want to say one last thing about Ryan's little bit there.
Right.
Which is I kind of understand where the trolls are coming from, because most people, what they get from learning how to belay properly is like access to the lead wall. And he got to climb with Alex Honnold.
Right. So they're just
a little
pissed at him.
They're just fucking annoyed.
That's all. It's all based
in jealousy.
Jealousy. Rejection.
They're envious.
He couldn't even pass a belay test, and he's climbing with Honnold. Like, what the fuck?
Thanks to Ryan for coming in from the struggle. Yeah.
I want to say one last thing about Ryan's little bit there.
Right.
Which is I kind of understand where the trolls are coming from, because most people, what they get from learning how to belay properly is like access to the lead wall. And he got to climb with Alex Honnold.
Right. So they're just pissed at him.
They're just fucking annoyed.
That's all. It's all based
in jealousy.
Jealousy. Rejection.
They're envious.
He couldn't even pass a belay test, and he's climbing with Honnold. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. I feel like Andrew, you and I, we've been interacting with Ryan for a few months now, and don't you feel like kind of his sort of trad dad?
He's our baby. He's our metaphorical baby.
Those are the best kind. It's the real ones that take up all your time.
And he's such a disappointment with his belaying.
What did you just say?
He's such a disappointment with his belaying.
Oh, I thought you said he was belame. I thought you'd come up with a new word. That's so belame. When a climber does something that sucks, you're just like, that's belame.
That's a good word.
There we go. Last Rites is over. We just made up a new climbing term, belame. So belame.
So belame.
That guy stanced that. That's so belame. All right. Here we go.
Howdy, this is Joni. So something that could definitely go away is people downgrading things on top rope, especially when it comes to a spicy slab. That would be really awesome. Thank you.
That is so specific.
It's very specific.
The only thing missing from that was the name of the person who did that to her.
And the climb.
If Joni could stop downgrading things on top rope.
That was Joni.
Especially if it's a slab. Oh, Joni, yeah.
Yeah.
Also, my friend Joni, if she could stop.
Oh my God, I was climbing with that bitch Joni. She would not shut up. She just kept saying how easy it was.
That'd be interesting if she had a friend named Joni. It's an unusual name. I actually I wanted to put this one in here though, because I think downgrading in general, can we talk a little bit about that? Like, one of the things I like to do with this show is sort of guide the climbing community. Let's lay some ground rules. Like, of course you don't want to downgrade shit when you're top roping. Joni, you're absolutely right. And whoever friend burned you with that, like
Joni was her friend.
Yeah, Joni. The other Joni 2, don't be friends with her anymore, because that's not cool. Like, everybody knows climbing is easier on top rope. In certain places, as she pointed out, very specifically, sounds like some slab in the South is much harder on lead versus top rope. So never downgrade something on top rope. That's ridiculous. But what about like just downgrading in general? What are our guidelines? Because I'm actually kind of I've got a reputation around town for this.
Yeah, well, I think it's like you don't give yourself enough credit. So if you do it, you're like, oh, I can't be that hard. So I muckled up it. But
yeah, but look at me.
So belame.
I think that downgrading, new routes is one thing, but like to go to an established classic and be like, I didn't think it was that hard. Unless you found some new beta, like, grading's on a curve. It's a spectrum, and consensus grading is, you're always going to have outliers that think it's soft or think it's hard. But the consensus is always in the middle, obviously. That's why it's the consensus. So downgrading established route to me is just like it's an ego thing for sure. You know, I mean, you could say it. Yeah. I don't know. Felt good that day, but and that's the other thing that drives me nuts about downgrading is for some reason, one downgrade. So you can have 8 people call it one thing when this 9th person does it and they suggest an easier grade. That's the grade that sticks. Like it takes one downgrade suggestion for a route to be downgraded, you know, which is not how consensus works. That should just get thrown into the pile. Okay, we considered it. You know, then person 10 could say, I agree with that downgrade or not, but that's, you know, still getting at it.
I mean, I find downgrading less annoying than upgrading. So I'd rather have downgraders than upgraders.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think that with Joni's situation, if it's easier on top rope, I think I'm sorry to say that's what the grade is.
Really?
The grade is always
that's why they
difficulty
have
of the
E
free
grades in
No.
Britain. Like
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Fuck no.
Hell yeah.
No way. You can't grade it based on top roping it if the ethic is leading it.
What are you talking?
I mean, you can in Devil's Lake, but basically nowhere else.
Well,
but it's the grade.
else.
The grade is
the grade is the grade.
The grade is the grade for the difficulty. It's not for the like
whether you're top roping it or
feeling
leading.
of leading.
I mean,
ever.
in a perfect world, maybe, but not. Look, I'm gonna have to say it because we haven't gotten there yet on this particular show. But Indian Creek,
the sport climbing capital of crack climbing.
exactly. Like the stopping and placing gear is in the grade.
Then it's graded wrong because
Really?
everybody leads something different. When you're on top rope, the route is the same, and so a more realistic grade is a top rope grade.
Right.
Because if you were to tell me like, hey, incredible hand crack is 5'10", if you stop every 3 feet and place a number, whatever, what is it, 2?
There are threes
a
now.
3.
Something.
Right. What happens if I solo it? Technically, that's physically easier than stopping and placing.
Right.
So the grade should be what the free moves are, not stopping and placing. I think if you're grading based on gear, you're grading incorrectly.
How do you know that?
And
by the
unfairly.
way?
I get what you're saying.
Because here's the thing. If I'm
Go, Mary.
climbing, because I don't climb outside anymore, I
Right.
just climb indoors now. But if I'm climbing a route that's rated a V2 on the Kilter board, but it feels hard, the grade is the grade. I'm just going to be like, oh, that thing felt hard, whether it's V2 or, and I feel like that's actually a step in the right direction because
now
a lot
you're
of people,
like getting into existentialism.
Yeah, but this is where the British grading system has a logic to it.
There is no logic to the British grading system.
there
We've been
is.
down this road before.
there is.
Yeah, but it
Even the
combines.
British climbers don't fucking get it.
They
did
it's
a whole video series about it. They don't know what the fuck's going on.
It's an attempt to encapsulate.
You need a graduate degree.
That cuts.
You can
you need a
If you go to
webinar.
grad school, you can eventually
If
ascertain.
it's dark and
how it
rainy all the
works.
time, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
'Cause you got time on your hands.
But I think with our grading system, if that's what it feels like on top rope, that's the grade.
Okay, so I agree, and I get what you're getting at. The moves are the moves. They should be taken away from the experience. However, the person doing it,
Joni
number 2.
Yeah, not Joni who called.
Not
in.
Joni who called, but Joni, her buddy, Joni, the downgrader, Joni the downgrader. She should wait at the very least until she's led it to downgrade it.
But then you can make the same argument. I agree with
All
you.
right, all right.
I think that people downgrading the minute that they don't even have their shoes off,
Right.
and they're saying how
Okay.
I don't think it was 12
Well,
or
okay.
11D like that. Yeah, that's pretty weak.
Yeah, no, it sounds like bad Joni, not our good Joni.
I just
who called
don't-
in. Bad Joni is she's got an axe to grind.
So Joni
She's
the
trying to-
caller, not don't.
Yeah,
Joni
bad Joni's
DJ.
trying to take good Joni down a notch.
I was just going to
But you
say,
do.
like, the problem
They're
here
friends.
is the friendship, not
Right.
the freaking climb. Like, if Joni number 2 was my friend, I'd be like, bitch, you fucking lead that shit then.
So, I mean, I'm with you guys because in like the theoretical world of rock climbing, the moves are the moves. I just don't think traditionally it's really been that way.
It has.
Really?
I think so. Yeah,
Huh.
I mean, because free climbing, for example, like didn't get its starting from the ground with all your gear and throwing a cam in every 3 feet. There was like yo-yo style. There was like a lot of freeing of aid routes, which meant a lot of the gear was already in place. So they weren't grading based on how it felt to stop every 3 feet and place a cam.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
right.
difficulty moves.
Yeah, there was like
Instead
just
of
the pure
difficulty
difficulty.
rating.
And there could have been some inaccuracies to that too, because that style wasn't the most efficient either. I mean, with a yo-yo, it was efficient in the sense that like the last guy didn't have to put any gear in sometimes, and effectively had a top rope through most of it, maybe even the crux. But the reason it was inefficient was because anytime someone fell, they lowered to the ground right away and didn't stop to iron out a better sequence maybe, or look for better beta or whatever. So that was sort of inefficient. So sometimes people got up stuff and graded it inaccurately in that regard. But yeah, nobody was going like, oh dude, we had to like sit there and get that nut and then like,
True. All right. It's funny because we look back, and so anything put up in the 80s or whatever was probably yo-yoed.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a more
accurate grade.
Yeah. So maybe we should all be yo-yoing.
Well, let's go
So
back.
we should downgrade on yo-yo. We should yo-yo and then downgrade.
All right, Joni, go have some tea with Joni and work this shit out, okay? Because you're both wrong. All right, this one, you'll get why I'm playing this one.
Hey, Chris. It's Jonathan here. 6'3", 155 pounds, plus 6 ape index. I'm just getting real sick of gyms fluffing their grades to make people feel better so they'll come back. I'm not trying to say that everything needs to be like Devil's Lake sandbagged or some shit like that, but like it's getting pretty fucking ridiculous, There's a middle ground there, and I'm getting real fucking tired of people talking about sending their big ass fucking proj being on proj. Anyways, have a nice day.
But wait for it. Let's not lose the issue. I have reason to believe that tall Jonathan called back.
I'm walking to my university gym right now to teach our Learning to Lead class, and my boss recently tasked me with coming up with a curriculum for a Jim to Crag class. And I thought I'd just let you know, I'm going to tell people in the class that it's okay to bring their fucking dog to the crag. 6'3", by the way, so I don't want to hear it.
I love that he keeps talking about his height.
I mean, is that the same guy?
Yes.
Yeah, okay,
absolutely.
Cool. All right. He was walking, so his voice sounded a little bit higher.
The 6'3", though.
Yeah. But then he dropped into 6'3". But did he say he was that tall in the first one?
Yes.
Yeah, 155.
Okay. Yeah, so... in the first one, I was waiting for that to be appropriate for like, I'm sick of short people saying shit's hard or whatever, and then he was just like, no, I don't like how grades in the gym are light. I'm like,
did he say
what does that have to do with you being tall and skinny and plus whatever? Like
plus 9.
Yeah.
He's really saying that because he's probably like 5 feet tall.
No, I think because he didn't want me to like fuck with him, but it's too late, dog. He's going to come here. He's going to come bursting in the door. Hit his head on the door jamb. Anyway, Jonathan, first issue was... the second one was just funny because he wants to... is the last year's Craig to Jim thing. So, and the dog thing, he's rolling it all into one. So he's showing himself as a listener. But what about the fluffing in the gym? Does it matter?
No.
Grade's a grade.
Grade's a grade.
So, no, I mean, gyms are a business. They rely on getting people back in the door.
Right.
So they can grade it whatever they want.
But what does grades have to do with getting people back in the door? It doesn't make any sense.
The routes have to be good.
No, it's that there's a progression. Like outside, you could hit your head against the wall, like trying to break into 5'10".
But they can have a progression from V0 to V0 plus.
Yeah, but that's still zero. You still got a zero.
If you go if you know anything about outdoor climbing and then you go into the gym and you send super hard, it makes you feel good. It's just like Kalimnos.
Yeah, but I don't feel like none of those
Or
people even
sleep.
know.
Or 10 sleep. We haven't brought up 10
they don't
sleep
even
this year
know.
yet either.
People don't even know. They know relative to the gym that they've
Right.
progressed. That's important. I agree. But I'm just saying, like, it doesn't. It can be like an honest progression too.
Yeah, but isn't it setting them up to?
No,
that
because
whole argument that's setting them up for failure. This is the like thing you were complaining
I feel
about.
like if it's soft grades,
I'm just devil's advocate.
soft fluffy grades in the gym are creating the people that Ryan Devlin has to deal with every day.
Don't you think like certain places are doing the same? I mean, I think Kalymnos is doing the same thing.
Yeah, they're trying to get people back.
Yeah, so
And
it does
10 sleep.
work. I'm
What are you
disagreeing
guys
with Finn.
talking about?
What do you mean?
What the fuck are you talking about?
Didn't you know?
Big Kalymnos is in on a conspiracy to get people back. The fuck are you talking about?
It is those fucking Greeks. They're all working together.
Dude, the tourism
These are
board
just
like
soft
hires-
grades, and we need Joni to go over there and set it straight.
Joni.
The one thing about gym climbing and fluffy grades is over in the corner, often now relegated to some dark ass corner, is fucking Ben Moon and his goddamn moon board, like fighting the fight. You know what I'm talking about?
For sure.
Don't you think that's weird?
Which part? The disparity between the V4 in the gym and the V4 on the moon board?
Or the fact that it's in a dark corner.
Well, no, the reason it's in a dark corner goes back to the whole thing. Like, no one wants to climb on it. Like, I just find that so fascinating that Ben Moon or Moon Climbing, I assume Ben's making the call, just making his board like meaner, while the whole other industry is going the other fucking direction. Right. This is fascinating to me.
But this is why it makes downgrading so fascinating and funny, is because like you've got these monsters that come out of the gym, but that's their idea of V4.
Right.
And so they just go to like Waco and they can crimp on everything and everything's soft because they're like, they've been raised on the moon board, you know?
Yeah.
And is it soft? Like, no, actually Waco's where the V grade started. So that should be the standard. Then you've got these same people that climb V4 in a commercial gym setting. And then they go to a bouldering area and they get kicked around and they think bouldering outside is impossible and hard.
Didn't it used to be the opposite? I feel like it used to be like
it used to be
15
the
years
situation.
ago. Yeah, that people
gym
would.
grades were impossible.
Yes, gym grades were impossible, and everyone was going outside. That's what I remember. That was my memory. Okay, look, go to 10 sleep. You'll experience what we're talking about.
I'd rather poop in my hands and clap than go to 10 sleep.
Whoa.
That's not true. It's so fun.
That's Andrew said it, not me.
It's so fun. And you're like an awesome climber. I mean, the grades there are really soft.
That's why people go.
Yeah. I haven't gone back, though.
Hey, my name's Wilson, and I'm calling in with something that I think is dying, and I think that's the big bro. I think that since BD came out with those giant cams, no one wants to take the time to like set up this bottle jack in an off-whip, and they'd rather just scoot those fat cams up with them like they're on top rope. And I mean, to be honest, it's not really like people are out there like whipping on big bros anyways. So I think they're dying, but let me know what you guys think.
That's a smart observation he made.
Yeah.
Which part of it?
That big bros are on their way out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But
I think that's a good observation.
can you just clarify? Like, does the biggest BD cam cover the biggest size that the big bro covers?
I don't know if it does, but it covers all but maybe the largest one, like the humongous one. And it's just interesting. I put this on here because I sort of made a public call, I think on one of these shows or on the Runner or something, for some like legit footy of someone above a big bro
taking a whip
on it, like feet above it, not just like slithering onto it, which anybody who's used a big bro has done that. And like you stare at it, because I've placed them, and you stare at it and you're just like, putting my weight on it, oh my God. Just like, yeah.
6'3", 150.
150. Plus 3 ape index. Or whatever he said.
Plus 8.
But yeah, it's just interesting because I don't think they've ever worked, really. And look, I was literally friends with Craig Lubin, okay? Knew him. I was a Fort Collins guy. He's a Fort Collins guy. Like, we weren't like super close, but Mary was too. And so I don't want to disparage this item, but that's what I think is carrying it. It's just this like reputation,
This legacy.
That I think they've all always been somewhat psychological and really good footholds. If you stand on the correct side, you don't want to stand on the one side. You want to stand on the upper side. But I mean, and again, like I've like asked for this, like, hey, you love the bro, like show me that where you took the big winger onto the damn thing, because I've used them and scooched past them, and you kick them out, like the whole thing. And then also it defeats this whole thing that's made off-withing popular, which is the scooch.
Describe the scooch.
Just pushing the cam above your head so you're top roping the whole damn thing.
That's scooch.
I mean, I gotta say,
what is it called? I guess it's
I was like thinking about a body move or something. I wasn't.
What do you call that?
Top roping.
The bump.
Yeah.
But a bump's different because you take the cam out and put it back in when you bump, in my opinion. So I've always called it the scooch. The cam scooch.
If
and then when you get you run out, and you're like, well, fuck it. And then you leave that one, and you put another one in, and then start scooching that one.
Yeah.
So basically, you've never been above the pro
You've
on
never
an off with.
You've never actually led the climb.
Well, no, I mean, you've led it because it's difficult to. I'm not calling it. I'm just saying you top roped in a way. You top roped it all the way to the anchor.
Trust me, when I am actually doing that, which I do that.
Yeah, of course, everyone does. It's not a big deal.
I am top roping my way up the route.
And that was the problem with the bros is you couldn't scooch them. You place them, you got to go.
Yeah, you got to go.
So that was the other thing is I think they only ever got placed on like easier climbing where you knew you were never going to fall. Like I placed one in anger on a 5-9 off with on top of the sacred space out there in the desert. But I was like, there's no fucking way I'm falling out of this, but I'll put this thing in here. And
you carried it.
Clip my rope. I did carry it the whole way. So
I find the whole off-withing thing like bizarre. Like if you had told me like 20 years ago, if I had to bet on whether off-withing would become more or less popular, I would have guessed less.
Less, yeah, I know.
And it's become more popular, and it's just really baffling to me.
I think he's kind of like he's nailing why.
Yeah,
it's because you're top roping.
But on very big cams, like it's one thing to
It's
like
dangerous top roping,
to wiggle in like a 0.1. And then be like, well, here we go, but man.
Or imagine like scooching that along with you.
Scooching a 0.1. Just
like moving a pencil up. You might as well.
Be terrified.
But like, I mean, the way that it is you might as well just be like scooching an auto belay system up the wall.
Right.
That's kind of what you're doing. And auto blaze are super popular.
Yeah.
Right.
So by extension, off-withing is popular.
There's your crack to Jim.
Yeah, I mean that's the only form of climbing where you can have an auto belay.
I think we should have a moratorium on off-with climbing
till we can figure out what's going on.
Yeah, just end it.
Till there can be some studies.
We need to do some research here.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that would be upset with. Look, I am not going to go that far. I just know that the bro, and again, I think as much as it was this like piece of technology that Craig came up with to do this thing that there was nothing else could do it. I think it's Duder's right. Like the giant cams and I don't know. I think Trango's making them. I don't know who's making them.
It's Trango.
But they can't sell many of them anyway. So it's not like we're pulling the rug out from underneath them.
Well, then that kind of leads me to wonder like what's going on with hexes or what's going on with tricams.
But I think that like for BD to make hexes, or I think Metolius makes a hex type thing. It's so inexpensive.
That's what it is. Is you could get you could start your rack with tricams.
Yeah.
You could get 5 tricams for the price of a real cam.
No, tricams. I'm not saying tricams are out. Don't fucking start that.
Tricams have a place.
I did not say that.
Tricams
I don't need the Tricam army.
The
Tricam army going after me, dude. They're like Swifties only for fucking tricams.
There's some places that tricams only work.
That's.
I mean, yeah, don't fuck with those people. They're not to be mollified.
Like in the 7th rung of hell, only tricams will fit.
Anyway, all right, let's move on to a couple more. I've lost track of time. because normally I look
time
at
is a flat circle.
We stopped and started a couple times. So,
hey guys, my name is Joseph. I'm a climber from Vermont. I would like to kill the idea that climbing is a selfish activity. Obviously, there's some level of selfishness that comes with any form of recreation, but the idea that climbing is worse than any other sport is ridiculous. Unless all you do is boulder by yourself, or you just hire gig workers to belay you on your 516 project, I would guess that your partnerships are a large aspect to your climbing experience. I think there's something about sharing a rope with someone that helps build unique and deep bonds. I know that for myself and many climbers, one of the most important parts of climbing is the quality time we get to spend with people we connect with and care about. So let's come together and kill the idea that climbing is an inherently selfish activity. Thanks.
That guy should be working for the fucking Access Fund.
Yeah, well, someone give this guy a job.
He's a politician.
I try not to make it a habit of busting on the callers themselves.
No, I was
Keeping in
impressed with
mind
how
that we
well
had-
spoken he was. He should be representing all of us in Congress.
All right, so he had this idea that climbing is not selfish. However, the thing I actually wanted to key in on is this idea of gig workers belaying you on your project. Is there a future for that, you think? Like a fucking app? You're just like, it's like, oh, your belayer will be there in 27 minutes or whatever. Like if you were just posted up in the red.
Or anywhere.
Yeah.
Anywhere. I mean, if
a little map and there's a little guy hiking. And
there's been plenty of days that I haven't gone out.
You get Ryan Devlin, you're like, fuck!
Cancel. That guy doesn't even know how to use a gree-gree.
Oh, Ryan, you asked for it.
He knew what he was getting into.
Yeah.
He knew what he was getting into. He knew it. Or he should have known.
No, I would pay for that. There's been plenty of time. If you got 2 hours or something and you're like, man, by the time I wrangle a partner, they're going to want to climb too. It's just not worth it.
Right.
But I had 2 hours. I could get in there. I know my warm up. I could do it twice and then give a rip. I'd pay, would you pay $100 for it in the dead of fall or something? Like maybe
like you could
some
be like,
dirtbag would be stoked on that.
yeah, they'd meet you there.
I need you to just think through what you're saying right now.
This is a thought experiment.
I need you to think through what you're saying. I need you to think about not you enjoying this benefit, but all of the people that will take advantage of this benefit. And I need you to imagine going up to the crag and seeing that person and how much resent you will feel and how much you will hate climbing because of it.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know, dude.
No. Yeah, if other people use this app, then I've got a real problem.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you could imagine 2 or 3 guys standing around the project wall, smoking cigs, waiting to get the little beep on their phone.
Yeah.
I gotta go. So
Yeah.
I gotta go. This guy wants to try, living in fear over here.
It could be like a rideshare app where you can leave reviews.
Yeah, totally. Great belayer.
So Devlin's got a 1 star.
Right. Took his hands off.
The app is considering pulling his license. He's got a whole appeals process and everything to stay in the game.
I think that there's an opportunity to just make professional climb. This is the job professional climbers have in the future.
Yeah.
You get on the Mad Rock team and your job is to just go belay people for money.
It just seems as though it could be possible.
This does. I thought you brought up a great point, though, Andrew, because if I walked up to the cliff and Steph was being belayed by one of these people, I'd be like, what the fuck?
You'd be
girl?
like, where's
Why
Chris?
didn't you
She'd
ask
be like,
me to go?
Well, she's like, Chris, Miles has school today. He has to be there, but I needed to go climbing.
But girl, you knew I was going climbing.
Whatever, Ralph.
Why didn't you ask me?
Yeah, but she probably
I'd be all
did. This is
butthurt.
after you do all that.
Oh,
Yeah,
so
this is like a last resort.
But what if it's not?
Yeah, well, that's the thing.
That's what I'm saying.
You're
What
just
if
like,
it's
what's
not?
with you then?
That is what I'm
See what
saying.
your problem is. Why didn't you call me? Oh, well, because, I got Buddy over here. He's certified. I don't know.
Because Ryan Devlin was available and he's marginally better at belaying than you.
Yeah, the whole image in my mind is the app. He's up at the Ruckman. You're all the way down there. All the way down at the wasteland.
You just see the little like figure like walking down. It's taking way too long, and then he like shows up, and it's like, oh, he's got a dog that he had to like pick up the dog shit and like go back.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, he's stuck at the project wall. He's like, why is he stuck there? So fucking traffic.
The icon's just going back and forth.
All blabbing with You see, I think there's a future in it,
Yeah,
except for the
that's
internet
good.
doesn't
That's good.
work. And well, wait, no, because of Starlink, we can get it going in Rifle. I just gotta come up with a name for it.
Yeah, what did he call it? Gig something.
Well, it's gig work is when you do
Gig work. Okay, so it's like
Yeah, but like gig belay,
Yeah.
or I don't know. Somebody's like fucking writing this shit down right now. Who was that open source cat we talked to?
Beluber?
Yeah, Beluber.
I just got it.
All right.
Beluber. I just got Ryan Devlin on Beluber. Hey, do you need a partner today? No. I'm just gonna pick up a Beluber.
You see, now you're on board. You see the potential.
And the possible drama that comes out of it.
It's like, what? God, I'm just having all these images. Just guys like laying there, like I said, like a cig. You know, it's just like some dude, you know? Like imagine like all the cab Uber drivers you've ever met. But now they have a harness on and they're belaying. Because they don't climb, they're just belayers. Yeah.
Like, so what do you do? Oh, I invest in crypto and I Beluber.
I told you, I get to meet all sorts of new people.
I do Beluber, I do crypto. I'm a DJ.
Did we answer Joe's question?
What was his question?
His question was not about that. But I generally agree with Joe that climbing.
Joe for president, though.
That Joe is.
He was put together.
Yeah,
his idea that climbing is selfish is just a cliche, and he's right about that. So it's not selfish; it's just like anything else, except for in Joseph's world, there's a Beluber.
Selfish space where you can Beluber.
Like I
your
guess
way to
once Beluber
success.
takes over, then it will
Climbing
become
will
more
be
selfish.
selfish.
Yeah. Just like the whoever he's belaying like falls again. He's like, "Fuck, I'm never gonna get a tip now." It's like you only get tipped when the guy sends, but you have nothing to do with that unless you short him, I guess. Bad review. Shorted me on the fourth bowl. I
Please leave a tip for your Beluber.
This is like a whole other thing.
yeah,
Like
maybe
they're sponsored by
Uber's doing
belays
like the
back
self-driving
then.
cars now, so maybe like Beluber will have robot belayers.
Mhm.
I mean,
Oh, that's the future for
Yeah.
sure. Robot belayers are definitely right around the corner. The city of Rifle will just pay for two to be at the project wall at any given time.
In fact, it's not safe to climb without a robot
Exactly.
belayer.
Human belayers are
Prone to error.
Are prone to error.
Their IQs are low. They're probably high.
That'll be the next
They
thing.
learn.
You don't robo belay? The fuck, dude? You still use your hands? You have some person there?
What are
Some
you,
bag of meat?
fucking Stone Master?
Oh shit! I gotta cut a lot of this laughing out. All right, should we move on? All right, that's a free fucking startup idea for some tech bro out there, Beluber. Just send us some T-shirts or whatever when it's up and running.
Although we asked for somebody last year to like open
What
a
was it?
gym. Remember, we were like, "Hey, can somebody out there open a gym?" So whoever Beluber,
And they didn't fucking
they
do it,
didn't
you
fucking
ungrateful
do it.
fucks.
Exactly. Like, fuck you all. Start Beluber. Start a gym.
A gym? What was the gym
The
idea?
fact that like we were just like we have no gym.
Oh,
now,
here in
and
Carbondale.
it's
Yeah, no
like
one's taking our
the,
bait.
The big box gym would have to do is just be like, it's kind of a tax write off. Let's just open a gym there.
Hey, Chris. This is Cedric from the Boise area, a local climber. What I'm calling in for today is a zombie that I deal with too much, and I'm sure you guys deal with as well. But it is the endless spray that I see on Instagram from beginner climbers, people who have been climbing maybe 3 or 4 years and understand the difference between a solid gate and a wire gate quick draw. Seem to want to tell me how to build a quad. Anyway, I'm not that experienced myself, but I'm getting really fucking sick of it. So that's my zombie.
He needs to change his AI. This guy needs to start following more hard climbers.
Yeah, the first thing you can do is you can reset your algo.
Yes.
That's what he needs.
That's what I
dog,
meant.
reset your algo.
That's what I meant. Reset your algorithm. Yeah.
Wait, what?
Get a whole new algo. You can like go to Instagram and like just reset your algo.
What happens then?
All new shit.
The reason I wanted to play this one is because I just wanted to talk about how trapped we are. Instagram's like, don't delete our app. Just reset your algo, bro.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Stay for a while. It's nice here.
It's cool. Chill, baby. Just reset the algo and move on. Like keep scrolling. Like that's the whole thing. I think is we're just all fucking, because that's the thing is that like Cedric doesn't realize, and we all don't realize that we can just shut that shit off.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
You could choose you can just not follow these people.
I mean, the algo thing is real though. It comes.
But I'm with you.
comes
Like
at
you just stop following the people that are doing that.
Yeah.
You unfollow them.
Or mute them.
Or mute them.
Or if you hate them, you block them.
So wait, unfollow, mute, block.
Yes.
What does mute do?
I'm not sure what mute.
You just
Mute's
don't see their posts or something?
Yeah, you don't see their posts,
you can
but
go
you
check
can
it
still be
out.
friends with them.
Okay, so
So it's like a little stealth tactic.
Okay.
If you get sick of someone, I'll mute you sometimes, Chris. But like all of this stuff, I mean, like it's fun to like get like super like heated about something that's a trend. But in every case, it's like it's always like it goes too far in one direction and then it just kind of modulates back to the middle.
No, that's
And,
true.
Yeah. Except for Day Flash, that never seems
Day
to
Flash,
die no matter how much you
and
try to kill
now
it.
we might have Day Stance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Day Stance.
I
I was shit talking Beluber, but I'm starting to like that idea.
No,
board now.
I'm not joking about that. That's when I was like, listen to his thing, like blah 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 blah, selfish climbing. And he's like, you have your gig worker playing.
Right.
I was like, bing.
But yeah, the thing that really
That's
like
how that shit happens.
The thing
dog.
that really
That's
sold
the
it for me
strike of
was like
lightning.
the idea of like this like overweight chain smoking dude.
Yeah.
Like showing up and bullying me.
Yeah.
Like I'm in for that.
Yeah, totally. Because it's like way less boring than the
Yes.
all of your partners you're fucking sick of, right? How we doing, you guys?
Good.
Everybody's good. It's
Yeah.
not even that late, really.
No.
All right, let's punch a few more in then, because we're
here.
There's a lot. How about this one? This one's a little out of left field.
It's like, I don't know, are they the Wicked Witch of the West and they're just going to melt as soon as the sun hits them? They're like, bruh, yesterday it was too rainy and too cold, and today it's too sunny. We can't climb there. It's in the sun. So for me, I'm like, dude, it's in the sun. Guess what? We'll get a little bit hot. I don't know. Maybe we'll like take your shirt off. Maybe you'll get a tan. I'm personally
Tank top,
with
please.
climbing in the sun, but I feel like if you're going to go the entire summer without climbing anything that's in the sun, it's going to be pretty hard to climb. So that's my beef. Climbing partners who refuse to climb anything, any rock that the sun touches, they avoid it like the plague. I don't know. What do you guys think? I get it's nice to climb in the shade. I don't think it's a deal breaker to climb in the sun at any given time. But yeah, that's my thought. What do you guys think?
All right, lizard.
I was going to say, this guy needs to move to Moab.
Well, this one's pretty specific as well, which makes me wonder if he's dating Joni.
Not Izzy though.
Not Izzy.
Izzy's with Andy.
So much
Izzy's
of
with
this
Andy.
is much of this is just like my partner who I
Right.
can't talk about
Exactly.
fucking does his thing.
And I can't stand it.
I actually, like I said, when I first heard this, I'm like, yeah, fuck climbing in the sun. And then he basically called me out. But what it also made me think about is that like the whole Condies discussion, to use that word, I think that needs to probably go away soon, is like this discussion that I never fucking had in the first like 10 years of my climbing. Like I did not think about what it was going to be like at
It's
the
always
cliff.
shady in an off-wit. That's why. You were just scooching, dude.
Just in the scooching.
Yeah.
I was into the scooch.
The sun
I don't
doesn't
know. I
go that
just
far
like
back.
you just dealt with it. Like,
it was another thing that you dealt with.
It was just part of climbing was
Yeah.
to be in the elements, and maybe the element is that it's hot. And then half the time it was like we're in the shade, it's cold as fuck. Like, but now I'm like completely, Nick's anti-hero in that the sense that I'm always thinking about, well, we can't go. And my wife's always just like, it's not going to be that hot, just climb in the sun. Like, no, we can't climb in the sun. We can't go to that cliff. It's not shady until
it doesn't go in the shade until 1.
Exactly.
So let's not get out of bed till 11.
We're all in that, but it's
I
just
think
kind of
this
an
listener,
interesting thing.
this caller needed to identify his age because, I think we all go through phases where climbing in the sun or any conditions whatsoever, you absolutely do. And that's good. You should totally be that person, and you should totally be that stoked on climbing that you will climb anything at any time. But, obviously, you get older and smarter and you realize that, climbing in the sun sucks and you're not going to do it. So if you're in that phase in life, then find a different partner. That's all I got to say.
Yeah. My cutoff is 40 degrees. Below 40, you chasing the sun.
Yeah, we can't. And Nick, you can't. We're actually married. You haven't chimed in. Where are you with climbing in the sun?
Well, every time I go climb with your wife,
you climb in the sun. That's what you're for, Mary. That's why you're.
I'm not for it.
Actually, go climb with Mary and climb in the sun.
No,
then when you climb with me, we can climb in the shade.
You know what's really funny though is that we decide where we want to go climbing, and miraculously, even if we're both like, "Oh shit, it's going to be in the sun," something happens where one cloud covers the sun the entire day, or it's not as hot as what they predicted, or there's some breeze that's making everything amazing. So to be honest with you, every time I end up climbing in the sun when I'm not a fan of it, I'm not a fan of it, but your wife somehow talks me into doing these weird sunny, let's go do this adventure in the sun. And I'm thinking I'm going to boil and it's going to be horrendous. And instead I'm like, well, it's actually kind of okay.
That's probably our biggest sticking point in our climbing relationship, actually.
I know.
Is
She tells me
sun
about
versus
this.
shade. Yeah. Just I'm not going there.
And she's
Fuck
like,
that.
whatever, let's just go see what it's like. But it's generally, I've actually never been in a situation with her where I was like, God, this was a horrible idea.
Right.
It's always turned out to be just fine.
If you're going to climb in the sun, then just rely on magic and incantations to bring clouds and good conditions.
I know this cat's from Denver too. Nick, dog, the sun out here is brutal.
Yeah.
Again, we got to bring up I think Rifle's been mentioned, Indian Creek's been mentioned. Black Canyon has not been mentioned, but here we go.
Nick.
But look, that can be dangerous.
My skin.
I have almost died because of the sun. Several, the first 5 or so years of my climbing life, I almost died many times only because of the sun. Because I didn't fucking know better than not climbing in the sun. Let's go do Serenity to Sons of Yesterdays in August. Terrible idea.
And just these other climbers are looking at you walk out of the campground oh, there they go. Fucking gonna go get destroyed. You're all clank, 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 carabiner on your chalk.
The worst decision was, and I was also climbing with a guy from Mexico that day.
He's like,
and
fuck
he's
it,
just
I don't give a shit.
Yeah, he didn't give a fuck.
I don't care.
So it was me who didn't know better, and a Mexican who was going to be fine.
Yeah, man. I tell you, I don't know.
They call it stoned oven for a reason. And
Absolutely.
I have found out that
Me
very
too.
reason and bailed
100%.
on that very climb and been like, now I'm going to have a fucking sunburn on top of having poison ivy all over my fucking
If
body.
I don't just literally die of heat stroke, it's fucked up down there.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. And the poison ivy is
Nick.
real.
Nick, I get it. Cragging in the sun, no big deal. But please, you're a Coloradoan. Don't go climbing the black in the summertime on the fucking sunny side. Yeah, you'll be rescue bait, dog.
Hey, Chris.
Anyway.
I just called in a second ago, but this is Cedric again.
Oh, hey, Cedric.
The one thing that I think is dying also, and something that ties into it, is the idea of brushing your holds. Even in the gym, I feel like nobody really brushes the holds. It makes a huge
is
difference.
dying.
Makes it way easier to climb. And I think we need those Brush Thy Board stickers everywhere. Anyway.
That's why I had to play that one.
Wow, I was like so with him like on the first half of that.
But this is actually, it was on Taps last year that I found out what ASMR is.
What is it?
Yeah.
What is ASMR?
Andy knows.
Andy.
It's the the listening to, it stands for something, auto. Oh, it's out of the
Yeah, it's
now.
like the
just
sounds
like
of it is like
sensory
yeah,
sounds.
Yeah.
We
But-
talked about it last year. And I Googled it.
So
and got
Cedric's jam is like
no, he's saying, I think
Clean
he
and
likes
holds.
I think what he's talking about is the
visual.
The visual.
Yeah.
Because that is actually satisfying.
I think ASMR can be visual too.
Can it?
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
As
A
long as
lot
there's
of
no
like the
narration.
ASMR content that you see on Instagram is like, it's like someone like, I think the classic one is like making like food.
Yeah.
And you hear the knife and you see the
sizzle
knife and
and-
like you,
yeah.
you like feel like
You feel you experience
like
it.
pulling through the meat that's you're seeing cut on the screen. It's
So
like
Cedric's into that jam.
it's like this
so-
whole sensory experience. And
Mhm.
so yeah, you could have ASMR like hold washing videos.
Yeah, don't be like washing your holds without videoing for Cedric. That's what he's saying. But back to the brushing thing.
That could get real weird.
Back to the brushing thing. Like, what is the ethic around brushing holds?
The ethic?
Yeah, like I mean, most people don't do it. Like, I would say
yeah, we're all guilty of not
doing it.
doing
Do you
it.
just do the holds you think need it? Like, do you brush the whole climb? I mean,
Does it do anything?
Does it do anything?
It definitely does something to gym holds.
Do you think?
Hell yes.
No.
Oh yeah. There has
See, that's
been
what I
so
mean.
many
I
times
think
where
the
like
act
one of
of it
those
is ASMR, right? You're just
roundy
Yeah.
Those are called
holds.
slopers.
Yeah. Yeah,
No,
like
they-
the seriously though, when you like brush a sloper, you're
Yeah.
like
It just extends a
I
little
stick
bit.
better
I think
to it.
See, but that's what I think. I think, Mary, that you could do, the whole wine tasting thing where they
Yeah.
fucking bullshit somebody into thinking some wine's really good when it's just some $2 chuck or whatever.
Yeah.
I think that if you did a sort of a blind
hold test
with that shit, and someone should do this as well, like that you'd be completely hoodwinked into thinking a hold had been brushed versus not brushed. I think it's in your head.
I think the texture feels more textury.
I think it depends on the rock.
I don't know. I'm
I
telling
think
you.
so.
Well, let's go to the Jim Holt thing, though.
Yeah.
I just feel like if it's some caked ass hold, then your little scrub jam is all
Yeah.
in your
I mean,
brainstem.
well,
I
and-
kind of disagree with that.
and when
I
the-
think on crimpers, maybe that's true, but on like
Big
a
fat sloper.
big fat sloper, it's.
I'm telling you,
brush that
somebody
shit.
the how not to
Well,
guy, the guy that breaks
yeah.
shit with his little
You
thing,
should do a blind taste test.
should do that instead
Blind
because
hold
you're
test.
you're breaking the stuff with the thing is getting old.
Well,
I think
can
it'd be
tell you that,
interesting to
like-
like do like the chalk versus no chalk
Well,
test.
no
too.
chalk is terrible. Like when a plastic hold has no chalk, like when they wash it and then it's dry and then you put it on the wall, it's a forerun is terrible. That's the worst. Yeah. So you have to put some chalk. There needs to be some chalk on a hold.
Okay.
Then there's probably a threshold where there's too much.
And then there's a threshold where you're not, especially outdoors, like on
Yeah.
limestone.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, we all climb and rifle. Like, it's like fucking pointless. There's like 25 years of ancient chalk on that. Your little 10 seconds of scrubbing it didn't do a goddamn thing, right?
Sometimes I think it depends on the hole.
See, it's in your fucking heads. It's in your heads. Big
Yeah.
chalk. Big chalk has you. They fucking have you.
I don't think it's that. I'm not buying more chalk because I brush. It's
All right,
it's
whatever.
a
Big brush. Big brush.
Yeah. Big boar's hair.
Yeah, exactly. The boars people. The,
The
people
boars
who,
are like, we need to kill more boars
Yeah, the
for their
boar
hair
people
to
are
make more
like,
brushes.
For years, they're like, how do we sell more
Yeah.
of this shit? Like, we've been doing this for hundreds of years.
Oh,
Those poor boar farmers.
we found the market. We'll get
Exactly.
rich.
Exactly.
There's no more Vikings to eat the boar.
Right. No one eats this shit.
Well, it's only climbers that are killing our animals.
Every single time I brush a hold for myself, like thinking every single time I'm just like, this is stupid. There's
not.
nothing's
So,
gonna
okay.
change. I'm weak. That's why I can't hold on this hold.
this tiny fractional moment of extra friction is not the difference.
Let me give you. I'm disagreeing. I'm like going into the
not eating
corner.
the buttery croissant yesterday is the fucking difference.
No,
that's also true.
Let me give you another reason that you would brush. All right, like think of those days in the canyon or anywhere where it's like super windy, blows up a bunch of dust. Where's that dust land? Well, on any little like protrusion from the rock, i.e., a hold. So, like, not only are you removing like fake chalk, but there's also like a little bit of layer of dust, maybe some pet dander from all the dogs.
He said dander. He's got a point.
Yeah.
He said dander. He's got a point. No, keep going.
Yeah, no. So you have to brush that off.
Yes, the dander. All right. Absolutely correct about the dander because
you're going to climb on dander, Chris.
I know.
You're really going to climb on dander?
It's like dirt, dander,
right. and fecal matter.
Yeah, I mean you got to brush that off.
Because I walked to the porta potty at the wasteland in my climbing shoes.
Well, the gym definitely has fecal matter on the holds. That's been proven.
I do want to say what everyone has just been talking about, like. It goes back to what we were talking about earlier with the shirts off in the gym. I think the shoes off in the gym is what we need to be focusing on.
Yeah.
Like, why are you walking around in your bare feet anywhere in the gym?
Really?
It's so nasty.
You should be bringing climbing shoes and like slippers.
Flip-flops.
Yes.
Or flip-flops
Flip-flops,
or something.
slippers,
Like, you should have shoes on at all time
Yeah.
in the gym.
Yeah, I agree.
Like, I actually care less about the shirt thing than the your fucking feet.
Right. But what's the big deal about getting nasty stuff on your feet? It doesn't matter. It stays on your feet.
Gross.
Yeah, feet
Who
are kind of
cares?
gross.
Are you licking them later, or what's going on?
Feet can transmit like viruses
To
and
who?
infection.
Ringworm, dude.
And
People get
fungal
ringworm.
infections.
Does anyone ever get
viruses?
from the gym?
No, but all the
Amazing.
wrestlers used to in high school, like there'd be like an outbreak.
Really?
Yeah, because they would get ringworm on the mat, and then they'd all roll around together in it, and then they'd all have ringworm.
I think that people should be
You're making
wearing
that up.
shoes in
I
the
do too.
gym.
I do
like,
too.
if you're not in your climbing shoes, then like there's like plenty of options for like easy slip-on footwear. Like it
Yes.
doesn't have to be like you have to wear your like approach shoes in the gym,
No.
but like get some slippers or something.
So your gym kit should have your Crocs in it.
Your Crocs,
Yeah,
your
your
slippers,
slippers, whatever.
anything.
I'm a
Sounds
slipper fan.
Japanese. Your
It's quite
obsession with
zen,
hygiene.
actually.
Yeah.
Because then you would have to have some little pad that you only carried slipped out of your slippers.
Right.
You would stat on that pad.
Yes.
While putting your shoes on.
I love it.
So you're fucking, and you would roll that little pad up.
This
each
is
time.
ASMR. Keep going.
Okay. All right. So that's a little piece of carpet.
I love
for
it.
example.
Yeah, no,
So we're
I have a
going
huge
backwards.
boner right now. Keep talking.
So
wash
you
your hands.
Slip your feet in your shoes. All right. I mean, I get it because I mean, I think the slippers is a good idea either way. I don't have a big problem with the foot hygiene, but you do have to go into the bathroom, take your shoes off, and it's hard to sometimes put your regular shoes
Dude,
back
if you're
on.
walking in the bathroom in your bare feet, dog, like
So
what are
now-
you doing?
What do you do? Do you throw the slippers away every time when you leave the gym? What happens to those?
No, they're just
they're
they're
part
just
of your
slippers.
kit.
It's about your feet touching all of the things. Like your feet don't touch the things now.
Right.
They touch your climbing shoes and your slippers, or your Crocs or whatever, flip flops.
Gotcha. All right.
Even
I'm in.
flip flops are like less ideal
I mean,
because
what-
they're open toed.
I'm a little hobbit like. Like I think my feet are they stay down there, so whatever gets on the bottom of them is fine because I don't lick it or touch it. So yeah, I mean barefoot kids and stuff like that's
Yeah.
like back to the earth and shit. But I'm with
But not
you.
in a
I get it.
bathroom, not in a public
I've
bathroom.
often been in climbing gyms where I had to do that climbing shoe bathroom transition. I was like, I should have a pair of slippers. It could be on your Beluber thing. Like, did he have slippers with him for the gym? That Beluber went into the bathroom, came back out, and then walked on the pad with his fucking normal street shoes. It's disgusting.
Part of the survey at the end.
Exactly. Did he have gym socks or gym
Did he
slippers?
have appropriate footwear post belay?
Honestly, people should be climbing in the gym in scrubs.
Totally. They just throw them away.
Yeah.
Into the incinerator.
You get a scrub and then you just
incinerator on the way out the door.
Exactly.
Right.
It's disgusting in there.
It's kind of late in the show for this, but we're going to do one more community service one. Okay. So let's have a listen to this. I know. We got to help these people.
Okay.
We just have to help these people. Okay.
Okay.
Hey, Chris and all. This is the Overstoker here calling from Oklahoma. I'd love to hear your guys' opinion on project draws. So I'm not talking permit draws with steel cable and a roof. I'm talking project draw on nylon somebody left up because they're working a route. It could be, I want to know when it's kosher. I want to know when it's booty. So if I pull up to a crank, do I get all these draws if I can get them? Or are they untouchable until this person sends? And can they put it on a route that's already been sent? What areas is it allowed? What areas should it not be allowed? It seems like this is the one thing that only one thing that climbers can't agree on. What the heck are we supposed to do with project draws?
Is there like guidelines around hanging draws on routes and leaving them there for fucking ever?
Yes. If you're a pro climber, you can do it. And if you're not, you cannot.
Every area is
It's
so
that
different,
simple.
and that's
What
why
is so hard about this?
I think the better question is, if somebody has a project draw up, but I want that project draw to be lengthened because I'm a shorter climber and I want to clip it sooner. So then do I hang my double draw underneath their single draw, or do
You
I
don't
hang...
come in and touch my project draws.
Well,
Mary.
that's what I'm...
You do not do that.
I'm asking how to touch them.
Okay, I'm telling you, you do not do that.
I just want to know
And then
how.
the other question is that when I go back and I'm the person
I know,
who has
what do
the
you do
draws,
with her draw?
then what do you do with those things?
No,
do you
but
just
that's the
leave them
thing.
there?
I'm not gonna connect.
fucking burn them.
I'm not gonna connect my draw to
If you
your draw.
extend it, right.
I'm talking
All right, but-
about having a completely separate thing. Do I hang
No,
my
because
double
then you
draw behind?
So
your
another
single
beaner,
draw?
2 beaners on the thing?
I know, this is
no,
what I'm
that's not
asking.
Good.
What do I do?
That'll break your beaner.
What do I do? I don't want my beaner broken,
No.
and I definitely.
You need to extend it with a sling, because you could clip a sling to the top beaner.
So I would
You could have the
extend-
dog bone and the sling on the top beaner. So you just extend it with like a 2-foot
Is
sling.
that really safe, Andy?
Oh.
It's safer than trying to put.
No,
Is it
it's-
really safe, Andy?
All right, let's.
Yes.
Safer than.
Andy, is
It's
that really safe?
Yes, it's safe because
All right, you
he's.
see,
Yes. The
see,
answer
this is
yes.
what this shit's complicated because then also, like you said, if someone does extend your draw, which happens all the fucking time,
Yeah.
and then you send the route and you take your draws down, you got this half a dog bone. Like, what the fuck do you do with that thing?
Yeah, do you leave it at the base?
You
or
put it
on
at the
bowl?
base. That's
Yeah,
gonna
but
disappear.
your idea.
You bury it in a hole
like an actual dog.
like a
bone.
dog.
You
It's
give
a
it to
dog
the
bone,
dog.
and a dog would bury it in the ground, and that's where you place booty.
Is in the
The
ground.
end.
But also, I would have to say, if
bury
you
it.
lose a half a dog bone, who the fuck cares? Like anyone
Yeah, I
that
mean, I
gets
think
like
if you're
bent out of
leaving-
shape, wow, that shit drives me crazy now.
I think if you're
Alright,
leaving
so
project
annoying.
draws on a route, you have to sort of kiss them goodbye
Maybe.
anyway. Like in theory, they could just get hammered.
They could get hammered.
You know.
I've hung project draws and come back to them, and they're like sharp,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
And you got to throw them
oh,
in the trash.
someone really enjoyed this.
Yeah, I think
Not
it
me.
just also depends. Every area is so different, you know. Like
right.
you leave hanging draws at one area, they'll get plucked on a weekend, and you leave them in rifle, and they're never coming down.
Never.
Yeah. So, I mean, like the draws on Foxhole have been there for 3 years, and they're aluminum, and people still climb on them. You know, it's like it's nuts. But
whose are they?
What's that?
It's like we should do
No,
like a
they keep
CSI
replacing-
show where we just each
Yeah,
show
whose
you try
draws
to
is it?
figure out whose draws they are.
Yeah. Well, the first one keeps getting replaced because it keeps getting
Right, getting
grooved as
sharp.
shit.
Right.
Yeah. So the first one keeps getting changed out, but the
Right.
rest of them are still like so stupid. Oh man. Yeah. Permadraws project versus project draws.
Overstoker lives in a place where you can take them though. Is there any time where you can just fucking take them?
Yeah, what do you guys do with them? I've got a nylon collection, so I've been taking them, but not really. You guys tell me what you think. I'd love to hear about it. Thank you.
Not really, he says. Not really.
I don't think you can take draws off of
No, I don't
routes
think-
unless they're garbage.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I think that
But like you should understand, like most likely if they're like truly garbage draws, there's
given
not
up
someone
on them.
coming for them.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
But if they're like new draws,
Yeah.
and they're obviously like in good condition,
Yeah, the only
they
time
belong
draws should-
to someone, and someone might
Yeah.
be sad if you take them.
I think the only time draws come off is when they go from the root to the trash can. Because, yeah, otherwise it's stealing.
Yeah, so leave those draws alone, Overstoker.
But if you are to take trash draws down and remove the groove beaner on the bottom of a good dog bone, I mean, he does have a collection of nylon.
Yes.
So he could keep the nylon if he wanted to. I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, because you're replacing the aluminum.
Yeah, that's the dangerous part anyway. That's the dangerous component, most likely.
I think, though, it comes down to if you're looking up at some draws and you're like, maybe I shouldn't take those, then don't take them.
Don't take them.
Right?
Yeah.
This is like a basic thing we learned in kindergarten, right? We don't take things that don't belong to us.
I think that this, I mean, like, just to like bring it back to the like zombie kill thing, like theme, like this is something that I think is going to get worse. Like it's only going to grow, because I think a lot of people won't understand. Well, I could see going either way, I guess. Like,
because if you come out of the gym,
if you
you're
come
like,
out of the
there's
gym,
fucking draws everywhere. That's what somebody put them there. I don't know what they're. I don't know how they got there, but sweet.
I've never thought to ask that question before.
Yeah.
There's a holdover though from like the trad dad booty thing though.
That's where this is coming from.
And this is where this is coming from.
That's why I
that,
joked about it being from back in time.
And there's like the booty thing is dying off where, people are like, hey, I had to bail off such and such route and I left like a cam and 3 nuts. Like if somebody climbs it, I'll give them a 6-pack kind of thing. If somebody could retrieve my gear. So yeah, the booty thing's kind of dying. Maybe it's like transferring over to stealing project draws.
There's no more booty.
Yeah.
It's just project draws.
I mean, like, I think to like just give guidance though, like, because this is like a legit issue in climbing. Like for project draws, it's like a totally dependent on the area.
Yeah.
Right. Like, and there's some areas where that's not fucking cool, and you should
like the new.
Know which area you're climbing
at the endless wall.
Yeah,
except
on
for
national parkland.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for the Cirque.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like just to like call out the
Wherever.
new climbers a little bit, like you understand that you're climbing in an area where leaving draws is a problem, and you understand also that the endless wall is like your little safe zone where you can, be the hard climber who does what you want, and you're making the decision to just like live with those two contradictions.
So
that's something to think about.
Right.
It's like an area by area basis. Like other areas, like it's totally fine to do that, and
just know the history of where you're going.
Yeah.
It's
And
like
know
you
the
want to know the
history,
history, you want to know the context, you want to like understand where you're going, and like any other things that might play a factor in leaving your gear up.
And even in places like rifle, where it is generally okay to leave your draws up, and we generally have this whole infrastructure in place to address routes that perennially have shitty gear. We can replace them with permadraws and whatnot. But even still, like, people should know that like the first bolt might get stolen by someone who's not a climber, and that happens. It's not the biggest deal or whatever, but like it's just something to think about. Like every area is different.
So your flow chart that we started with is simple. Am I going to leave draws? Are you a pro climber? Yes. Okay. No. No. I mean, it's a simple flow chart, right?
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
It's that simple.
I don't know.
Now, are they getting paid or just getting shoes?
I mean, because like
if you're getting shoes, or are you getting paid?
The only reason that you would leave draws is if you got them for free and therefore don't value the purchase price of 12 quick draws.
All right, last go. Thanks for coming to Taps, you guys. It's been a crazy one.
Last Rites.
All over it. I mean, sorry. Can't kill the Taps. I mean, you can't kill the Last Rites. Actually, that's what this is about. Thanks for coming to Last Rites. However, Ben has something to say about that.
Hey, Taps team. This is Ben calling from Bangor, Maine. Long-time listener, first-time caller. I listened to the Taps episode in 2024, and I've been losing sleep because people have suggested tapsing the taps episode. So I want to call in and do my part and taps the idea of tapsing taps. I think that taps should stay around. It's really important. I look forward to it every year. And if we taps, then there's going to be no more taps. We don't want to taps it. So we want to tapsing taps. Now, you've probably already thought, okay, someone's going to call in the next year and tapsing the idea of tapsing taps, and it's going to be this whole thing. Well, I'm preemptively tapsing the idea of tapsing my idea. So you can't tapsing taps because I'm suggesting that you're tapsing taps. So please tapsing taps. Thank you.
Fuck yeah.
That's the most legit fucking call I've ever heard.
Good night.
This is really strong tea.
No, it's just right. Trust me, what with all the intrigue you guys have been dealing with.
What?